John Lusk here of Lusk Archery Adventures. Series testing, successful hunting. Today I'm going to be testing another head by Tooth of the Arrow. I've been retesting a number of heads that have performed really well for me over the years using my new 2026 process. And Tooth of the Arrows are one of those. They've done so well for me in the lab as well as in the field. I've taken so many animals all over the planet with these things, and they've never disappointed me. And so I'm eager to put them to the test with my 2026 regimen. I've been so impressed with them that I asked them years ago for a discount code, and they said yes. So if you type in Lusk10 when you check out from their website, you save 10% on any order. And hey, they're not very expensive anyway, so that really does help save some money. And today I'm going to be testing the 125 grade 4-blade solid, like non-vented version. And I'm going to be testing it using my 2026 process. For a detailed description of that, please check out the video I posted earlier this year called 2026 Broadhead Test Process, and it'll walk you through it. I'm going to be using my Elite Eon Compound bow for most of the shooting, along with Bishop Archery arrows. And then I'll be using my Ravin LR XBow at 450 feet per second for some of the testing as well. Let's zoom on in here, check out this Tooth of the Arrow 125 grain 1-inch solid, and then put it to the test. Here's a good look at the 125 grain non-vented Tooth of the Arrow 1-inch model. And first of all, I got to apologize because I didn't have any more new ones. I'm usually smart enough to save one new one to use for this this close-up inspection, as I call it, but I didn't. And so the one I'm using here is one that's already been shot into cinder block. You can see the white where the cinder block has stuck to it. You can see how deeply it penetrated, and yet look, it still spins so well, and it's still really pointed. It just shows how durable these things are. Okay, they're really impressive. But this is the 125 grain model, and the 125 grain model takes a little bit less of a divot out of the ferrule than does the 100 grain model. So the 100 grain model has a bigger scoop in each of the little center parts of the ferrule. That's where they save the weight, going from 150 to 125 to 100 grain. But still, the weight is very concentric around that ferrule. It's a nice thick ferrule. It opens up a great wound channel for the rest of the arrow shaft to glide through, which really aids in penetration. And with all that weight, so much of the weight being concentric in the center of the ferrule, it spins very well and it flies very well. It doesn't plane off course as much as some other broadheads do. This, in terms of materials, this is machined out of a single bar of high carbon steel. So you got to be careful. It's not stainless steel. You got to be careful a little bit to keep it dry or keep it oiled so it doesn't oxidize. You don't get the rusting, but it's a really good, durable steel to use for this purpose. And I found that it works really good. That, along with the geometric design, makes it extra durable. The blades are 0.04 inches thick, so they're relatively thick as well. And for resharpening, they sell a sharpener, which works really well, because you can't lay these flat and sharpen them like you could a 3-blade, 1-piece broadhead that has a 60-degree bevel. These have a 45-degree bevel angle, so they get a little bit sharper than those 60-degree ones, but you got to use a specific sharpener for it, or just put a stone and catch each bevel and do it, 8 times. That can be kind of challenging. I'd encourage you just to buy their sharpener and use that if you're using these a lot, because it works pretty well, and it'll save you some money, and they do get pretty sharp that way. Now, the overall length beyond the end of the arrow is 0.78 inches, so less than 0.8 of an inch, which is really impressive. The price of these comes out at $16 a head, but you can use my discount code LUSK10 to save 10%. And hey, every little bit helps. That can help you out. Really look forward to putting this 125 grain solid non-vented 1-inch Tooth of the Arrow head to the test and seeing how it performs. With my Elite Compound bow, it drilled the bullseye. And with the Ravin at 450 feet per second, it just missed the bullseye. I mean, by the skin of its teeth. It got the 10, but just missed the bullseye. It took 290 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.1 on a 10-point scale. It penetrated right at 8 inches. I know it doesn't look exactly like that in this video, but that's just the way the lens lines up. It did penetrate 8 inches. It took an additional 41 grams of force to cut through the wire, which is a 9.18 on a 10-point scale. It penetrated through 71 layers, which is a perfect score of 10 on a 10-point scale, plus a bonus for being over the threshold of 70. The head's in excellent shape after the 3 shots through the MDF. And there's still 0 damage after the 2 shots through the steel plate. And man, I just love these holes. Man, Tooth of the Arrow makes some of the best holes there is in the steel plate. It just makes square cutouts in the steel. And that's what I found it does in animals as well. The internal damage is just extraordinary. And for comparative sake, I'm going to show you a picture of a Slick Trick 150 grain Magnum and the holes that it made. Really impressive holes as well, but they're more slits than they are just a square cutout, and I found that does make a difference in the animals. Here's the Tooth of the Arrow 1-inch 125 grain after all the durability testing, and man, it just held up extremely well. Of course, through the MDF, no damage whatsoever through the steel plate, no damage with the cinder block. It penetrated really deeply into the cinder block, which was impressive, and in doing so, got a little slight bit of edge shatter, if you can see it there, just on that one blade, maybe a little bit on another blade, but man, just very impressive durability. Not perfect, but darn near perfect. So what'd you think? Man, these things just perform really well. I love the solid version, and I love the 125 grain version, and I really like the smaller one. I mean, I like the XL too, but when I've got a longer shot, or I really want to maximize penetration, man, you're getting a full 2 inches of cut, and you're penetrating well. This thing zips through cardboard like nobody's business. 71 layers of cardboard. Tooth of the Arrow always does extremely well in that test. They're really worth considering for pretty much any animal you're going to be hunting after. But you check out the score sheet and see how they performed in the areas that matter to you the most, and see if they might be a good fit for you and your hunting needs. And stay tuned for the overall summary of the scores, as well as the cumulative score and the corresponding Lusk grade. And also stay tuned for a list of all the discount codes I can offer, like Tooth of the Arrow, Lusk 10 will save you 10% on any order. But there's many other discount codes I can offer as well, just to help you save some money in the field. Hey, thanks for tuning in. Look forward to seeing you next time.